If you're losing apprenticeship hours in Washington or worried your affidavits will get denied, this episode could save you thousands of dollars.
Labor and Industries catches it and they would just deny the whole affidavit. According to our research, that was the number one headache for businesses in Washington, is getting those hours approved. We have developed a software tool that helps manage all of that.
In this conversation, you'll discover why affidavits actually get denied, how this tool protects you, your licensed plumbers, and your trainees, and how contractors are using it to grow faster without risking citations. So if you're tired of losing hours, slowing down growth, or paying for mistakes you didn't even know you made, this conversation is for you. Let's get into it. Welcome to Trade Traction, the podcast that helps you stop working for free and actually turn a profit. I'm so excited to have Todd Allred with PHCC of Washington here. Todd, we have something super cool in Washington. It's called the No Hours Left Behind. Tell me, what is that all about?
Oh man, it's really cool. It was over the last 4 or 5 years, we kept hearing stories about, trainees that weren't getting their affidavits approved so they could move forward in their career to get to that point where they've collected enough hours that they could qualify to take the exam to be a certified plumber and reach that almighty pinnacle, right, that we tell them we want them to meet. Well, after the law changed in 2020, I feel like contractors didn't pay attention to the math, and maybe trainees and in some cases certified plumbers weren't paying attention to the renewal dates on their cards, etc. And so it was a problem that people were submitting affidavits on behalf of their trainees or whatever, and the math didn't work out. Labor and Industries catches it and they would just deny the whole affidavit. There could be other reasons they were denying, but we found the two most common reasons for an affidavit denial are that the trainee or the certified plumber that's supervising, their card expired, or they were trying to assign too many hours to the supervisory plumber and they just denied it. So we have developed a software tool that helps manage all of that in one place. It's not using a spreadsheet. You can enter hours for a trainee. You can keep track of renewal dates for certified plumbers and trainees, and your contractor registrations, your general contractor, your plumbing contractor registration. All of those things are going to notify you when they're coming on 90, 60, 30 days. And then I think we're even getting down to 7 days, 3 days, and 1 day notifications coming to the contractor. And then and then inside of that, you can track CEUs. You can see everything going on with everything to do with hours and trainees and certifications. And then once you have recorded hours, you can actually submit the affidavit right from our software right to the department. Now, I'm not sure that part is set up just yet. So in the interim, you may have to download it, notarize, sign it, notarize it, upload it, and then send it via secure email, which we recommend. That link is in the software. But Labor and Industries has indicated they're creating us a special inbox just for affidavits coming from our tool. Labor and Industries currently has access to the tool, and we want them to get to know it, try to break it, because if they can't break it, then the affidavits can't be wrong. Then hopefully that streamlines the process, not just for the trainee, not just for the certified plumber supervising them, not just for the contractor, but also for LnI as well, because they're understaffed. They're months behind on processing affidavits. And so this is an example of where industry, through the association, comes alongside everybody, regulatory, contractors, and everybody, to help solve a problem that's, according to our research, is the number one headache for businesses in Washington, is getting those hours approved.
Todd, this is huge.
It's huge.
A lot of contractors wonder what PHCC is. I wondered what PHCC was for a long time. And it's just an association of plumbing and heating and cooling contractors that come together. You're the executive director, so you're kind of the leader of it in the state. And you unify us to work on a common goal that we can't change a law by ourselves. We can't go down and pick it at Olympia and change a law. But when we all come together and you bring us together and then connect us with lobbyists, now we are an association coming together with a whole bunch of people to make things happen. And this is one of those things. I couldn't build this tool by myself.
Well, you might be able to, but what would you do with it, right? So
Yeah, yeah.
the advantage of an association in all of that process is that our voice is amplified by the number of contractors that are members of our association. So, the more people we have, the louder our voice is. And this is an example also of, I've used the analogy of the flywheel, right? Where you got this giant flywheel. It weighs 30,000 pounds. It's 20 feet across, 6 feet thick, and our job is to start to spin it. And now if that flywheel can represent your business, it can represent the industry, it can represent any entity, an association like ours. And in order to get that thing moving, it takes lots of people, right? We all have to throw some energy into it and get it moving. But once it's moving, it's got momentum and it's going to keep going. So we want to come alongside industry. We want to come alongside regulatory. We want to come alongside everywhere we can to help the contractor to have a healthier business that raises the value of the entire industry.
That's awesome. Yeah, maybe I could build a tool, but LnI would say, "Who are you?" Right? But
Yeah.
now PHCC is a formal association that's been around decades, and the LnI recognizes an association, and then we can actually work together and collaborate on this problem. Well, this is a huge problem because I remember the conflict of being a contractor and saying, well, these hours are the plumber's responsibility. And so it's kind of on them to keep their CE credits up and to pay their fee to keep their license legal. But we all know we're running our plumbers about as hard as we can run them, and the apprentices too. And then they get behind, and we might, if we're really on top of it, remember to remind them, hey, you got to renew your license or your trainee card. But then 6 months go by, right? And if that hasn't happened, yeah, the plumber doesn't have his card, but we don't have a licensed plumber on staff, or that plumber can't sign for the trainee. And then the same thing happens with the trainee, right? Where the trainee didn't, maybe he paid his license, his trainee card, but he didn't do his CE credits or enough CE credits or the wrong ones. And so now we want to give him, we've got a licensed plumber, we're trying to give him hours, and he can't take them because he doesn't have a legit up-to-date trainee card. And so we're kind of taking responsibility for that, for the contractor's own good. Is that what we're doing?
That's what we're doing. And in fact, I would take it a step further, Dennis, and say that, really what we're doing is right now it's the responsibility of the plumber to get his CEUs and get his certification renewed. It's the responsibility of the trainee to submit their affidavits that are signed and notarized by the employer. Does anybody actually do it that way? I don't think so. And that's the problem. So this is a situation where, we are making it easy for businesses to be the masters of their own destiny in this process to make sure that they are reducing their exposure to citation. Because that guy, look, your plumber, my plumber, when I was out in the field, was I worried about putting a date on my calendar to remind me to renew something or to get CEUs? No, I wasn't, because I'm worried about, I'm driving to a job, so I don't have my face in a computer. I'm working on the job. I don't have my face in a computer to put that stuff on a calendar. And it's just kind of, there's nothing. People are not creating reminders or creating accountability for themselves because they're worried about the job. I want my contractor, my plumber, I want my plumber to pay attention to what's going on the job so that we don't have a failure rather than worrying about all of that stuff, right? So this kind of removes a bit of that out of the hands of the guys that are out doing what they want to do, plumbing, and put it in the hands of the contractor to do what they want to do, and that's to manage.
Right. Okay, so you say that one of the reasons that contractors are getting in trouble with LnI is they're submitting the hours wrong, or asking for too many hours. And so does this tool helps us not make that mistake?
Well, you won't be able to make the mistake. The software is watching the if this then that, all those conditions, and if you try to assign too many hours to a supervising plumber, it'll notify you and it'll say you can override this notification if you want, but you have to be aware of the risks. You are at risk of audit, and once you have an audit going, then it just opens a whole can of worms. I don't recommend anybody go through that. However, if you have legit justification and you want to override the warnings of the limits because you have documentation that plumber supervised that many hours for a trainee who is trying to claim more than the state allows in one period, they allow 2,000 hours, but if you try to get 2,200 hours, you got to have documentation. And so if you have all of that, and this software can allow you to do that, we say, it's your risk. But I'm recommending personally as the executive director and being close to the process that you just stay within the limits of the state, because really a trainee is not going to notice 100 or 200 hour reduction on the hours approved. They're out working, they're not paying attention to that. They just know, in July of whatever year I should be able to test.
Right. Very cool. So how do we get access to this tool? I caught you drinking.
Great question. Yeah. The best way to get access to it, the only way to get access to it, is to be a member of the PHCC of Washington. We are not currently charging any fees for the software usage. It's included with your membership. There is a couple of things that are unclear to us at this time. There may be due to we're trying to set up a digital notary, so you don't have to print it out, notarize it, and then upload it again.
Oh, that'd be so nice.
And so there may be a cost for that, but we want to work it out so there's no cost to our contractors. So that's the only way to get access to it, is to be a member of PHCC.
So a membership of PHCC, that's what is it? $10,000? What is it?
I wished it was that much. No, it's right now it's $1,824 a year, or $152 a month for a contractor member.
$152 a month to be a member of PHCC.
Yes.
And then everything else plus this tool. Maybe this is the only thing that we really see value in right now with this tool. For $152 a month, we have access to this tool that then connects us directly to LnI.
Considering that your citations could easily exceed that, yeah.
If I get in trouble with it, what is the citation? What's the value in it?
Well, the minimum first time, and usually you're getting 3 citations at one time, because they'll cite they'll cite the company, they'll cite the CSR, they'll cite the plumber or the trainee. Each one is 500 first time, then it goes to 1,000, then 2,000, and then 5,000.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. And there are entities in our industry right now that are looking to double those fines.
Double them.
Yeah.
So I guess one of the reasons to be a member is to help fight that right there, right? Like how else are we gonna stop? How do we stop that?
How do we stop that?
Yeah.
That's a sensitive, strategic process that every time you're going to stop something like that, it looks a little bit different. Right now, we are just trying to come alongside those other stakeholders to try and negotiate and for something different. I'm not at liberty to share what those things are at this moment, but I can tell you that there's a survey that went out today to our members in the email asking their opinion on this issue. We need it back by the end of the day today, but even if someone didn't get it back to us by the end of the day and we get that information like next week, that's still good for us. But so far, unanimously, all input is no, we don't support this.
Got it. So that's what PHCC is doing, is working on stuff like this for us contractors.
If you're not at the table, Dennis, you're on the menu.
Yeah. That's one reason right. That's one thing that intrigued me about PHCC, because I would be driving in my truck complaining about the way things were. And then I met you and you're like, well, let's change it. And I'm like, what do you mean change it? Like, how do we change a law? And it's like, well, we got involved with PHCC and then got a lobbyist and went down to the state and changed the law. So let's talk about the law really quick. Maybe we just have maybe 5 minutes left. Like, give me some highlights on, there's a lot of miscommunication or a misunderstanding about the law, like how hours are allocated. Maybe give me 3 to 5 little issues that clear things up.
Yeah, I think I kind of know what you're getting at. So I would tell you that in commercial construction and commercial service work, so anything that is 3 stories or more than 3 stories, I believe, is considered a commercial building. So if it's an apartment building and it's 4 stories, it's going to be considered commercial. The ratio to certified plumber to trainee is 1-to-1, and in person, 75% of the time during the day, that person needs to be supervised within sight and sound. Residential work, so PLO2 residential work, which is residential construction, that includes service work for a residential PLO2 plumber. They are allowed to supervise 3 trainees on a residential project, and hand out hours to 3 trainees on those projects. That increase in ratio is on a sunset. I think it's got 2 or 3 more years before that change sunsets back to 2-to-1. And then you have the PLO4. We created the PLO4 residential service plumber, which has some specific parameters around it. And basically it's, anything outside the wall. You can't go. You can go to the next serviceable fitting, like say, you were taking apart a fitting and there was a fitting right in the wall there and you had to get to that fitting to make the correction. You can do that, but to go any further, you need to be supervised in person or remotely. So we also added remote supervision for the PLO4. Once they have 2,000 hours of in-person supervised training, so 2,000 hours 1 year, now for that next year, they can be supervised remotely. And they can be supervised on a ratio of 3 trainees to 1 journeyman, or 1 certified. So except for the PLO4 can only ever supervise 1 person.
Okay.
But a PLO2 can supervise 3 remotely if they all have 2,000 hours and he's within 40 miles. He or she is within 40 miles of that trainee.
Got it. And then the 04 can only grant 04 hours. And so
Correct.
we're kind of saying don't really, like if once you got your 4,000 hours, you can test so you're licensed, but you don't want to necessarily give those hours out unless you have to.
Well, I mean, yeah, I'm going to leave that choice to each contractor.
That's
I'm not going to give any advice on that. However, I would say that the one thing that people are missing that's very, very important is that the hours that are, if you fill out an affidavit for a trainee and you assign PLO4 hours to it, those hours only apply to the PLO4 certification.
Got it.
They do not go up to the higher certification. So if you had 4,000 hours of experience in the industry and it was all PLO4 hours, you get your PLO4 cert, and then you got to start over at 0 to get your 6,000 hours to get to PLO2, or the 8,000 to get to PLO1. So, do with that what you will.
Got it. So this is all complicated, and until you really understand it, it's complicated at first. I think it's a lot simpler once you understand it, but this tool clears it all up and helps you not make a mistake.
It does. It does.
Very cool.
I mean, this tool will allow you to enter the hours once per year or every day. If you want to go in and say this trainee worked under this supervisor for 6 hours and under this guy, 2 hours under this gal or whatever, and then you fill out and then when you go to create the affidavits at the end of the year, it'll line up all the affidavits that have the same supervisor, create one affidavit, and it'll line up all the rest of the hours that were claimed under another supervisor, and it'll create that separate affidavit.
Very cool. Very cool.
It'll do all that. Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, so how do we become a member? What do we do?
So what you do is you go to phccwa.org/membership, I think. And anyway, if you just go to the homepage, you'll see a membership link right at the top. And go there, put all your information in, all your business info. You want to upload a headshot. We want you to have your logo in there. We're going to collect some other information from you. Like we ask for your UBI. The reason we ask for your UBI is because when you sign into our No Hour Left Behind tool, it's going to populate your UBI, your plumbing contractor registration, and all of the data that you feed into it is going to be there telling you, okay, this is what you need to do next. And
awesome.
So we collect all that information and then you pay.
Perfect. So 152. You said 152 a month, and then or all at once for the year, and then. So that would be a tax deduction, right? Like if we wanted to pay this year right now.
Yeah.
That would be a way to get rid of some cash. Okay.
Yes,
and
it
then
would.
And then the tool is free, and then we can use that all year long.
Yes. And I think it's going. I think it was supposed to go live yesterday. We had a little trouble, but I think it's live today.
Yeah.
Our developer is very responsive, and so we're going to be continuing to add things to it too, Dennis. I want to highlight that we're going to be adding electrical and different things. We've already had requests for it from our beta testers, so really, really exciting things are on the horizon.
Awesome. I think we're on the right track. This is a huge problem that every contractor I know of struggles with, and so thanks for putting the right heads together to make this happen and get to work on it, and let's spread the word. Thanks for being on.
Thank you, Dennis. I appreciate the opportunity.
You got it. If this episode helped you understand why hours get denied, and more importantly, how to stop losing them, do me a favor, like this video so more contractors in Washington actually see it. Subscribe if you want to stop working for free and finally run a profitable shop. And most importantly, share this with one contractor you know who's been struggling to keep apprentice hours current with LnI. You might literally save them thousands of dollars and years of frustration. If you're serious about protecting your business, your plumbers, and your trainees, look into joining PHCC of Washington. Membership gives you access to the No Hours Left Behind tool, and right now it's included for members at no extra cost. This is one of those rare tools that doesn't just make things easier, it helps you avoid citations, keep hours approved, and grow your business the right way. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.